Hey everyone, it's Uncle Rob, or it's known as Uncle Bobby B, and today's episode is another list, and it is my top 10 favorite pieces on my collection. Okay, so just a few criteria on this collection. Of course, you're going to see it here. You're going to see some still pictures, and there are some pieces on this collection that will definitely make the list. Unfortunately, I don't own those pieces, so I'm only keeping this to pieces I actually own, not some of the ones that are my buddy Junior's that is also on display with mine. All right, so if you're like, oh, how come like MP Soundwave didn't make the list? It's because that's actually Junior's and it's not mine. Secondly, as you know by my things, I do Gunpla as well, and there will be no Gunpla on this list. This is strictly a figures list. It's got to be a transforming figure, and so those make the list. And the Gunpla models, I'll probably do it on a separate list. So first, let's say what some of my criteria is for this top 10 list. First of all, of course, it's aesthetics. You know, it's how well made is it? Does it look good? Right? The paint job, articulation, stuff like that. The next thing is engineering and like fun factor, right? Is it too simple of a transformation? Is it too complex of a transformation? Is it more parts forming? Is it more panel forming? So it's also that thing, and like how fun is the transformation for me? And one of the big criteria for me, because this is the era I grew up in, it's going to be the nostalgia factor, right? What did that character or that figure mean to me growing up? How much do I actually personally like it? So obviously this is a very subjective list. So let's get right to it, all right? Okay guys, so let's start this list off with our number 10 selection, and that's Transform Elements Op Leader 1. Alright, so this is Transform Elements' take on a Masterpiece Prime. This hits my number 10. I'm going to tell you right now, MP44 is not on the list. And that's pretty much why this one's on the list, because for the price point you get it. I failed to mention price point is also a factor. So for the price point that you get this at, this looks absolutely spectacular, right? It's got that great G1 feel. It's cartoon accurate. The backpack's not as bulky as MP44, so it's got that going for it. Also, what it got going for it against MP44 is the transformation is actually pretty simple, and quite frankly, it looks great, right? It was a pretty decent figure, and it comes at a great price point. One drawback to this is, it doesn't come with the trailer when you purchase it, and I haven't linked up to see if the MP44 trailer can fit on this, but I'm pretty sure it can. So, there it is there. Again, okay, so that's it. So our number 10, again, Transform Element, Op Leader 1. Okay, moving on to number 9 on our list, and number 9 is the Keith Fan Toys Opticlones, or a Masterpiece Reflector. This one makes the list purely on nostalgia value. When I was a kid, it was very rare to get the actual reflector, or at least the Hasbro version of the reflector, because I'm not sure if it actually ever came out. It might have just only come out in Japan, but to get this guy, you had to get the Chinese like knockoff version, and it was actually the different colors, right? And when I saw these guys on the cartoon, I loved them, and so KFC has done a wonderful job on these guys. The make is really good. The transformation's pretty simple, and it looks really good. What I like most about these is that the accessories transform into parts of the camera, right? It's like, for example, you can see here, this actually becomes the flash for the camera, and the weapons that they're holding actually becomes a tripod and the lens. So I think that's a pretty neat gimmick, and for the price I got these, they really display well, and you know what, they're really masterpiece quality, so they stand well with any of my other masterpiece transformers. All right, so again, our number 9, KFC Opticlothes. Okay, so we're moving on to number 8 on our list, and number 8 is the Gigasaur Snarl. I don't remember what they actually named him, but it's obviously a masterpiece Snarl. So here he is. I love this one just straight because of the bulk, right? You can see here my hands, just how big and bulky and chunky this guy is. It's very weighty. For a nostalgia factor, where I picked this one as opposed to the other 5 Dinobots, Snarl was my favorite Dinobot. That's the main reason. But as far as he goes, I mean, he looks great. Like, this metallic finish is just unbelievable. The gold really pops. The red on the chest really pops. And like I said, he is just big and chunky, and that's kind of what you wanted with Dinobots, right? The other reason I picked this over the fans toys, number one, I don't have the fans toys, and they're almost impossible to get at the price point they're at right now. So this is a good alternative, especially for the price you're paying for it. It's like to see what else this company does. They've brought out all 5 of their other Dinobots. All 5 of their Dinobots are out in 2 different finishes, but I'd like to see if they do anything else other than Dinobots. But as far as these go, these are really, really nice. Okay, so again, number 8 on the list is the Gigasaur Snarl. Okay, guys, so number 7 on our list is the Takara Masterpiece Ironhide. I picked the Ironhide because you gotta have Takara on the list at some point, and I picked this one because the aesthetics, you know, is what Takara does really well. It looks very G1, very clean lines. But most of all, the transformation on this is really good. I won't go through it now, but I'll probably go through it when I do a review of this guy. But it just cleaned up really well. Him and the Inferno, I think, had really good transformations where they cleaned up really well to keep the clean lines. Now, if you're wondering why did I pick Ironhide as opposed to Inferno, because with Ironhide you can do this. Such heroic nonsense. I love it. I just had to do it. Anyways, guys, that's our number 7, MP Takara Ironhide. Okay, so number 6 on our list is Make Toys Downbeat. So this one shouldn't come as any surprise. I've done a review on this one. I'll put it in the link below for you guys who want to see it. This has to make the list because, again, Jazz is my favorite Transformer, and this one's the best iteration out there of a masterpiece Jazz. I'm not going to get too much into this one because you can watch the review, but basically that's our number 6, Make Toys Downbeat. Alright, so now we've hit our top 5, and here at number 5 we have Hasbro Combiner Wars Devastator. Yeah, so this one goes without saying. You gotta have a top 10 list. You gotta have Devastator on there. So here he is. The reason I picked the Combiner War 1 is because the transformation is pretty simple. It combines pretty simply. Not a lot of parts forming to it. And overall, it just looks really good. The aesthetics are nice. Even though it's all plastic, it's still pretty good. And you can see it's beefy. Right, it doesn't even fit in the whole picture. So let me try to pan down here nice and slow so you guys can take a look at the whole thing. Right, so yeah, so this one made my list. This also has some nostalgia value for me, as this was a gift to me from some really good friends that are actually the friends I live with, and this kind of started me getting back into collecting these things. This really was just supposed to be a piece for nostalgia. And then it just kind of slow rolled in there to the collection I have now. All right, so number 5 is Combiner Wars Devastator. Okay, so for number 4, we're deviating from classic Transformers, or at least third-party Transformers, and we're moving into another series that I really liked. So our number 4 is the Bandai DX Chokugen VF25S. This is from Macross Frontier. Macross Frontier, of course, is is a recent reboot of Macross, which came to North America as Robotech, and I absolutely loved that series as a kid. Something about jets turning into robot fighters just really appealed to me, and the melodrama and everything with Robotech got to me. So I really got into these figures as well. Now, yeah, so why this one ranks so high on the list is that these are not available in North America. So I have to give a shout out to my cousin Christian, who lives in Japan. He was actually able to purchase this for me on one of his visits, and I got hooked on these things right away. I have a good collection of these. They're valued. They're pretty pricey. That's the one drawback with them. But if you guys ever got this in hand, you would see where the extra money went to. They're just absolutely fantastic figures. The materials, the build, the engineering, the look. I mean, they're just really great. Again, probably because they're in the fact that they're from Japan. Also, it gets me. Reason these are not number one is, again, probably the price point. I have seen this figure on things like eBay now with the super parts and everything for close to $600 US. Whether you actually get $600 US is a different question. But again, you know what? Maybe we'll get into more of this if I do a whole review on this one. But for now, this is the number 4 figure, and that is the Bandai DX Chokogen VF25S. Okay, so we've hit number 3 on our list, and our number 3 selection is Fans Toys Road King, which is a Masterpiece Motormaster. Again, this is just a great figure. It's Fans Toys, so you know the sculpt is really good. The paint job is really good. Transformation, for what it is pretty complex, but it's actually a fun transformation. Now, this just came out, so the whole Stunticon set isn't out yet. So when it forms to Menasor, that'll probably make this review kind of incomplete, right? So, but for now, just based on this Motormaster alone, it's definitely it's number 3 for me. Again, nostalgia wise, I love the Stunticons along with the aerial bots. I have the aerial bot, the Fans Toys aerial bots in our collections. Those are juniors, so again, they don't qualify for the list. But the Stunticons, the aerial bots, are probably one of my favorite combiners as a kid. So that's why this guy ranks pretty high up there. Alright, so again, number 3 on our list, Fans Toys Road King. Alright, so here we go, approaching number 2. And our number 2 on our list, the silver medalist, is Bandai DX Chokogen VF1A and VF1J. So these are from, again, Robotech. I explained earlier what Robotech meant to me. I love the series. Jets that turn into fighters were great, and these were 2 of the main ones. I couldn't choose between the 2, so I put both of them for it. They're recently new figures. They just came out last year, and these hit everything, right? The build, the sculpt, the paint. These are truly masterpiece figures. Even though they're not touted as masterpiece, they are details. They're unbelievable. Pricey. They are a bit pricey, but not too pricey. I mean, MP44 can go for $600. These are about $230 each, and that's not too bad. One drawback for these: available in Japan only. Now, I just so happened to be in Japan when this guy came out, and let me tell you, it was a chore to get him. I had to scour Tokyo. Fortunately, on one of my last days there, I was able to find him, purchased him right away. Got my cousin to help me get this guy. The 1S is supposed to be coming out. That's the more classic one, the black and gray with the Skull 1. Hopefully I can get that one to round this collection out. But again, these are fantastic figures. I really had a hard time not making these the number one, but when you see my number one and explain, you'll probably see why. But our number two, again, the VF1A and the the VF1A and the VF1J. All right, so here we are, the grand finale. So let's, without further ado, the number one figure in my collection is Fans Toys Phoenix, or a Masterpiece Skyfire, or Jetfire, depending on how you want to call them. So I absolutely love this figure. So a bit of a background as to why this is number one. It beat out the Bandai figures mostly because of the nostalgia factor. So the thing is that a quick background is that when this came out back in the 80s, when I was a kid, it didn't come out like this. Basically what they did is they took the Robotech mold from Macross and recolored it with these Transformer colors and put it out here in North America. It was purchased by my grandmother and given to me for Christmas, which made it one of the greatest Christmases ever, because it was such a big and beefy, beautiful Transformer at the time. However, when he came onto the show, due to copyright infringement, they couldn't use that mold on the show, so they designed one specifically for the show and called him Skyfire. And that's what you see here. And that toy never came out back in the 80s. And it wasn't until this trend of masterpiece collecting or Transformer collecting came out. Another company brought one out, but it was a really poor mold. I'm not going to get into it. But when Fans Toys decided that they were going to take this on and make one that was cartoon accurate, I had to hop all over it. And trust me, they knocked it out of the park, right? The face sculpt, the paint, right? I put repo labels on mine just because I like to put repo labels on for the extra design. The transformation, right? The transformation is fun. It's a little complex, but it's also simple to make it fun, right? And the alt mode is spot on, right? As well as this is spot on. Articulation, materials. This just hits all those points out of the park, and again, it is a great figure, right? I'll probably do a more in-depth interview of this guy later on, and I'll post it on the site. I'll also post a website where you can get information about the whole Skyfire, Jetfire thing that I spoke about earlier. But for now, this is the number one figure in my collection. Though I did bandy about making it the Bandai ones. When I really thought about it, this had to be number one, right? For the reasons I told you. All right, so there it is. So there's our top 10 list. And there's our number one, Fans Toys Phoenix. All right, everyone, so that's our list. I hope you enjoyed it. Put a like and a comment below. Let me know if there's any other anyone I missed, or if you have any questions on anything else, or if there are any other reviews or videos you'd like me to make. In the meantime, make sure you subscribe for notifications for further videos. And until next time, I'll see you all later. Uncle Bobby B, baby. Uncle Bobby B.